Welcome. Today we're going to be going through our A major scales, both in parallel and contrary motion. The contrary motion really helps explain the fingerings that we use, while the parallel motion is much more commonly what we use in our repertoire. First, we'll start off just understanding what notes are in the A major scale. First with our Peck-by-Ear, finding our A on the piano, and now going alphabetically. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. 2 minor. And then we found our A major scale with the C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. We can double check with our 2 tetrachords, making the Addams Family theme with our tonic, whole, whole, half. And yep, we definitely have an A major scale. Now, as we get into our fingerings, these actually use the same fingerings as a C major scale, which uses the idea that we have 5 fingers in our right hand, so we need 3 more to form the octave. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for multi-octave scales, we replace our 5th finger with repetitions of our 1st finger. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the final note, we use our pinky to close off this octave. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3. In our left hand, we actually use the same finger pattern going the opposite way, in contrary motion. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 2, 1. Now an exercise I like doing to get the hands work together is to do a left-right together in one go. So I have both my thumbs prepared on the center A right here. I make my left hand wait and be prepared while the right hand plays. And now I make my right hand be prepared and wait while my left hand plays. Now I play slowly hands together. For our right hand, as we have our right hand moving up the piano, we want to imagine that we're petting some animals. We'll start off with petting the cat, a nice small object. We now get a bigger object. We start petting the dog for our full octave. Making sure to keep that arm moving nice and evenly. And now with our right hand, we're going to pet the lion, going up our 2-octave scale. Making sure the elbow's outside at the top part of the scale, with the wrist having a slight tilt to allow the fingers to pass over the thumb. And now the left hand starts by petting the cat for a 4-note scale. Nice smooth arm motion. Now we get to the 1-octave scale, petting the bigger dog. All one smooth motion to the arm. Now we get our full 2-octave scale, petting the lion. Nice long object, all still one motion. Elbow outside, wrist with a tilt. Our elbow outside, slight tilt to the wrist. And there we go. Nice fluid motion outside of the piano and of coming back in. Now let's go into an exercise that's going to help us get a bit of rhythm and get a bit of pace to the scale. And this is what I call pulse scales, where we're going to be pulsing on the downbeats. 1, 3, 4. Getting this idea of this steady rhythm, and then we'll put the 16th notes following it. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1. We can make sure to subdivide when we're repeating this pulse. 1E and a 2E and a 3E 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 and a. Now let's get into our A major power scales, where we'll have an uneven rhythm with a longer tonic, allowing us a chance to release the energy from our body and let that weight drop. We have a long hold, running, hold. This is a great chance to make sure, especially that left hand right now has a loose thumb to allow the fingers to pass over. Here, I make sure to get my right arm. This is a great chance to make sure my shoulder's rotating outside. Now the right hand's the one that really wants to make sure that thumb joint is loose, allowing me to pass the fingers over. Now that we have our 4-octave scale, we're going to go right from the dog into the lion with 4 octaves. Now starting off with my dog for 1 octave. Now for the 4-octave lion. In our left hand on the ascending, this is the over motion. This is where we want to make sure our elbow's outside and we're pushing up the piano with that ever little bit of wrist tilt. All one fluid motion up the piano, no twisting or hitches. Now on the way down, my right hand takes over the idea of elbow outside, a slight tilt to my wrist, making sure to push the energy down the piano. Now our left hand takes over, petting the dog for 1 octave down the piano. Now it's 4-octave lion coming down the piano. And now with this scale, we get into our pulse patterns, and we're going to have 2 different versions. One just the same as before, where we give ourselves 3 beats. Now there really is a second version of this, as higher velocity scales in parallel motion are much more common in our repertoire. Now, using 2 of them, 1E and a 2E and a go. 1E and a 2E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a Now, the thing we highly encourage is taking your time when you learn new technique, moving the metronome gradually by small increments, and spending plenty of time doing this. When we talk about time, it's not so much taking an hour to work on a concept like this, but finding a daily 5 to 10 minutes to work not just on A, but finding other scales, D, G, A, and C. Especially scales that are very similar, you can mix them up, and not spending more than 5 to 10 minutes on it per day. That's going to make it so you return back to doing your technique often when you practice. Every day would be great. Every day is highly encouraged. But when we sometimes sit down for an hour and work on technique and we give ourselves the headaches and we haven't touched any repertoire or music, it can be really discouraging to come back the next day and get trapped in another hole doing it for an hour, and then all of a sudden we burn out and we don't want to do it anymore. We have to be able to manage our time saying, I'm going to practice technique for 10 minutes, and even if it's not perfect, I'm going to move on. When dealing with metronome, the way to move it gradually in one session of practice is to move up by 10, down by 5, or when you're faster, moving up by 5, down by 2. Over the course of a day, you might have the goal of, I want to get from 60 to 100. The next day can be, I want to get even faster, but don't start at 100. Do something like 80 to 110. Start under what you're comfortable with and gradually move just a little bit faster than the day before. And before you know it, after a week of doing this style of practice, you'll have moved from 60 possibly up to 140, but yet it felt easy the entire time. You always felt like you were playing a little bit slower than you really could, and that's the goal. We shouldn't feel like our fast playing is hard. It shouldn't feel fast to us. It should feel very comfortable, and it should feel very under control. Happy practicing.